In the quiet, pre-dawn hours of February 11th, 2022, a chilling 999 call pierced the silence. Saqib Hussein's voice trembled with terror as he pleaded, "They're trying to ram us off the road. Please, I'm begging you. I'm going to die." Moments later, a fiery crash on the A46 near Leicester claimed the lives of Saqib and his friend, Mohammed Hashim Ijazuddin. Welcome to True Crime Watch HD. If you're captivated by in-depth investigations into real-life mysteries, subscribe to our channel and join our community of true crime enthusiasts. This is the harrowing tale of Mehek and Ansreen Bukhari, a mother-daughter duo whose entanglement in a web of deceit, obsession, and betrayal led to a double murder that shocked the nation. Mehek Bukhari was more than just a social media influencer. She was a rising star in the TikTok universe. With over 126,000 followers, her content showcased a glamorous lifestyle filled with fashion hauls, makeup tutorials, and dance routines. Her mother, Ansreen, often appeared alongside her, portraying an enviable mother-daughter bond. Together, they projected an image of familial bliss and success. But behind the curated posts and filtered photos lay a starkly different reality. Ansreen, at 46, was entangled in a clandestine affair with 21-year-old Saqib Hussein. Their relationship, which began on the live streaming platform Azar, spanned approximately 3 years. During this time, they met secretly in hotels across Birmingham and London, with Saqib reportedly spending over £3,000 on their rendezvous. Despite the significant age difference, Ansreen being older than Saqib's own mother, their affair intensified, unbeknownst to Ansreen's husband and son. As the affair progressed, Ansreen's involvement in Mehek's influencer lifestyle grew. She attended events, parties, and appeared in numerous TikTok videos, basking in the newfound attention and excitement. This dual existence, devoted wife and mother by day, secret lover and social media personality by night, created a volatile mix of deception and desire. By January 2022, the affair began to unravel. Ansreen sought to end the relationship, but Saqib couldn't accept the breakup. Feeling scorned and desperate, he allegedly resorted to blackmail, threatening to expose their affair to Ansreen's husband and share explicit images and videos if she didn't repay the money he had spent. The situation escalated, with Saqib sending numerous messages and calls, demanding attention and restitution. In a desperate attempt to silence Saqib and protect their reputations, Ansreen confided in Mehek about the affair and the ensuing threats. Mehek, whose influencer status thrived on a pristine public image, saw the potential scandal as a direct threat to their social standing and livelihood. Determined to take control, she assured her mother that she would handle the situation. In a message to Ansreen, Mehek stated, "I'll get him jumped by guys and he won't know what day it is." This decision set in motion a series of events that would culminate in tragedy. Mehek enlisted the help of close associates, including Rekan Karwan and Rayas Jamal, to confront Saqib. The plan was to lure him into a meeting under the pretense of returning his money, intimidate him into silence, and retrieve any compromising material he possessed. Unbeknownst to them, this scheme would spiral out of control, leading to unforeseen and catastrophic consequences. As the date for the confrontation approached, tensions escalated. The Bukharis and their accomplices meticulously planned the meeting, choosing a Tesco car park in Hamilton, Leicester, as the rendezvous point. They coordinated their movements, communicated via encrypted messages, and prepared for the encounter, all while maintaining their public personas. The stage was set for a confrontation that would forever alter the lives of everyone involved. On the night of February 10th, 2022, as Leicester's city lights flickered under a cold winter sky, a deadly plan was set into motion. The meeting had been arranged under the guise of a financial resolution. Saqib Hussein, still reeling from heartbreak and desperation, believed he was finally going to get back the £3,000 he had spent on his older lover, Ansreen Bukhari. He had no idea that what awaited him was not reconciliation, but a carefully orchestrated trap. At 1:17 a.m. on February 11th, Saqib and his best friend Mohammed Hashim Ijazuddin pulled into the Tesco Extra car park in Leicester. Hashim, a kind-hearted 21-year-old who had merely agreed to give his friend a ride that night, had no personal stake in the conflict. He was completely unaware of the true nature of the meeting. He was simply being a good friend, an innocent bystander caught in the crossfire of a crime he had no part in. But across the lot, hidden in the shadows, were the Bukharis and their recruits. Two cars were stationed strategically in the parking lot, a blue Seat Leon and a gray Audi TT. Inside were Rakan Karwan, Rayes Jamal, Natasha Akhtar, Sanaf Gula Mustafa, and Amir Jamal, all hand-picked accomplices recruited to intimidate and silence Saqib. Mahek and Ansreen were also present, waiting inside the Audi TT. Their goal was simple: seize Saqib's phone and delete any evidence of the affair. But when Saqib and Hashim arrived, something felt off. The presence of multiple people and the ominous stillness of the vehicles parked in the lot sent a chill down his spine. He hesitated. Rather than stepping out of the car to confront Ansreen as planned, he remained in the passenger seat, scanning his surroundings. Then a terrifying realization dawned on him. He had walked into a trap. Panic surged through him. "Drive!" he urged Hashim. Instinctively, Hashim hit the gas pedal. The Skoda Fabia shot forward, exiting the parking lot in a desperate attempt to escape. But the two cars, the Seat Leon and the Audi TT, roared to life, headlights flashing in the darkness. The chase had begun. 1:22 raat ke samay. The three vehicles sped onto the A46 dual carriageway, a highway that ran through the outskirts of Leicester. CCTV cameras captured the moment as the Skoda Fabia, driven by Hashim, frantically weaved between lanes, trying to outrun its pursuers. Inside the car, Saqib's fear escalated. He grabbed his phone and dialed 999, connecting with a police emergency dispatcher. "There's guys following me. They have balaclavas on. They're trying to ram me off the road." His breath was ragged, his voice trembling. The dispatcher tried to calm him. "Where are you?" "They're right behind us. Please, they're going to kill me. I'm begging you. I'm going to die." Then suddenly, a violent impact. The Seat Leon slammed into the rear of the Skoda, sending it skidding across the asphalt. Hashim struggled to maintain control. "Oh my God!" Saqib's voice cut off as the line went dead. In a final desperate maneuver, Hashim attempted to veer away from the relentless pursuit, but at speeds exceeding 90 miles per hour, the margin for error was razor thin. At 1:30 a.m., the Skoda lost control. It veered off the road, collided with a central reservation, and struck a tree with catastrophic force. The impact split the car in two. Within seconds, the vehicle erupted into flames, the fire engulfing everything in its path. Neither Saqib nor Hashim stood a chance. They died instantly. The scene was apocalyptic. A fireball illuminating the pitch-black highway, thick smoke rising into the cold night air. From a distance, the assailants watched. But rather than stopping to help, or even to see if the young men had survived, they fled the scene. Their mission was complete. As the inferno raged, the Audi TT and the Seat Leon disappeared into the night, leaving behind nothing but twisted metal and scorched pavement. But there was one thing they hadn't accounted for. The police had already been alerted. The 999 dispatcher, upon losing connection with Saqib's call, had immediately traced the location. Within minutes, emergency responders arrived to a site of utter devastation. Firefighters battled the blaze, but by the time they reached the wreckage, there was nothing left to save. The bodies of Saqib and Hashim were burned beyond recognition. The crash was initially thought to be a tragic accident, until detectives began piecing together the puzzle. When authorities reviewed CCTV footage from the Tesco parking lot, a different picture emerged. The presence of two additional cars, their erratic movements, and the rapid departure from the scene. Then detectives uncovered Saqib's desperate 999 call, in which he had explicitly stated that he was being chased, rammed, and targeted by masked assailants. This was no accident. This was murder. As forensic teams combed through the remains of the Skoda, they retrieved Saqib's partially burned phone, an invaluable piece of evidence. Despite the damage, data could still be extracted, revealing messages, call logs, and audio recordings. By the morning of February 11th, law enforcement had two prime suspects, Mahek Bukhari and Ansreen Bukhari. But the real question was, who else was involved? The next few hours were crucial. Authorities tracked down the registered owners of the Seat Leon and Audi TT, cross-referencing them with known associates of the Bukharis. Then the most damning evidence surfaced. WhatsApp messages exchanged between Mahek, Ansreen, and their co-conspirators. Incriminating conversations detailed plans to lure Saqib, discussions about attacking him, and even boasts about ensuring he wouldn't know what day it is. By 8 a.m., law enforcement arrived at the Bukharis' home in Stoke-on-Trent. When officers knocked on the door, Ansreen's husband answered, visibly confused. He had no idea about the unfolding nightmare. Mahek and Ansreen, still believing they could talk their way out, attempted to maintain their innocence.
Audi.
Yes, Audi.
Right.
There's a car that's coming on the right-hand side, a Leon, Seat Leon, don't know the model or anything, but it was blue, comes straight down, no speed, nothing, normal, on the right-hand side. We were always on the left-hand side. This right-hand side car's come now, the Leon, the blue one, has come straight next to me and come right in front of me, not very close. I've always said to myself, I'm a very good driver when it comes to this. I've been driving for 5 years, 4 to 5 years, and I've said to myself, always keep a 2 to 3 second rule gap, always, when I've said to myself, always done that. So this car's come not close, I've always braked. So I was doing 60, it was 70, I think it was 70 on the dual carriage or 60, I was doing 50 straight away, went back, went to 50 to 60, went back. This car didn't do anything to me. I don't know who, just a normal car going on the right to the left. The silver car, I don't know which brand it was, model, it's come zooming down. I've kept this 2 to 3 second rule gap, and the blue Leon's in front, and I'm at the back. This silver car's come and cut into the middle, so we're basically all 3 cars very close. I braked and I said to my mum, what is this car trying to do? And my mum saying, May, just keep your distance, everything's going to be okay, it's okay. Just a reckless, people just reckless because they know it's all the way down. If there's any cameras, there's going to be cameras, they must know there's no cameras. So they've gone all the way down, they've cut into my car. I've kept my distance, I braked. I was, I think, got to at least 40 because there was no cars behind me. Going to 40, this car was not threatening me, but agitating the blue car. Agitating the blue, so the blue car went onto the right lane, which is the overtaking lane, and the silver car went onto the right lane with the same car as the blue. So then the blue car went onto the left, and the silver car kept into the left, and it was just harassing. Like the blue car was trying to let you go, like go.
But when confronted with Saqib's 999 call recording, their demeanor shifted. The lies began to crumble. Later that day, police executed multiple arrests. Mahek Bukhari and Ansreen Bukhari were taken into custody at their home. Rekan Karwan, Rais Jamal, Natasha Akhtar, Sanaf Gula Mustafa, and Amir Jamal were rounded up in a coordinated operation. All were charged with 2 counts of murder. As Mahek and Ansreen arrived at the Leicester police station, surveillance footage showed something deeply unsettling. They weren't grieving or distraught. They were laughing. One officer later remarked, "It was as if they thought they could just walk away from this." But the evidence was undeniable, and the wheels of justice had already begun turning. The question now wasn't whether they were guilty, but how long they would spend behind bars. The arrests of Mahek Bukhari, her mother Ansreen Bukhari, and their accomplices sent shockwaves through the UK's true crime community. What had started as a social media influencer's glamorous facade was now being torn apart in the cold, clinical environment of the Leicester Crown Court. The media frenzy around the case was unprecedented, not just because of the brutal nature of the crime, but because it exposed the dark underbelly of social media obsession, reputation management, and the devastating lengths people would go to in order to protect their secrets. This wasn't just a case of murder. It was a case of calculated betrayal, manipulation, and an utter disregard for human life. On August 4th, 2023, after months of gathering forensic evidence, reviewing CCTV footage, and decoding digital communications, the trial officially began. The prosecution, led by Collingwood Thompson, KC, wasted no time setting the tone for what would be a long and dramatic courtroom battle. "This is a case of love, obsession, and extortion," he told the jury. "It is also a case of a ruthless and cold-blooded ambush orchestrated by the very people the victims trusted." With 9 jurors and a packed public gallery, the prosecution began presenting their timeline of the events leading up to the murders. They played Saqib Hussein's 999 call, in which his final words of desperation and fear echoed through the courtroom. "They're ramming me off the road. Please, I'm begging you. I'm going to die." The silence in the courtroom was deafening. Saqib's family members sobbed as the judge, Timothy Spencer KC, reminded the jury to prepare themselves for some of the most disturbing evidence they would ever hear in a courtroom. The prosecution didn't hold back. They described Mahek Bukhari as the ringleader who had manipulated her mother and friends into carrying out her plan. But the defense had a different story to tell. As the prosecution laid out the pre-planned nature of the crime, the defense teams, representing each of the accused, tried to distance their clients from the worst charges. Mahek Bukhari's lawyer, Christopher Millington KC, argued that the plan was never to kill Saqib Hussain, only to scare him into silence. "What happened on that road was not murder," he said. "It was a tragic accident that spiraled out of control." But the prosecution countered with hard evidence. They presented WhatsApp messages from Mahek to her mother stating, "I'll make sure he gets jumped. He won't know what day it is." These messages undermined any suggestion that this was just a scare tactic gone wrong. Then came the digital footprints. Cell phone tracking showed that the two vehicles had deliberately pursued the victims for miles, at speeds exceeding 100 miles per hour. As the days passed, the prosecution presented their star witness, Mohammed Patel. Patel, one of the original 8 defendants, had struck a deal with the prosecution in exchange for testifying against Mahek and the others. When Patel took the stand, the tension in the courtroom was palpable. "We were told to take his phone and make sure he doesn't talk," Patel said. "But when things went south, no one did anything to stop it." His testimony was damning. He confirmed that the plan had always been more than just scaring Saqib. He also revealed that after the crash, Mahek and Ansreen showed no remorse. They were just worried about getting caught. They never called the police, never checked to see if the boys were alive. They only cared about themselves. His words sent shockwaves through the courtroom. For the first time, it became crystal clear that this wasn't an accident. It was a deliberate killing. As the trial progressed, Mahek Bukhari's behavior in the courtroom became erratic. At times, she acted indifferent, smiling and laughing with her co-defendants. But the moment the evidence became overwhelming, her composure cracked. During one particular cross-examination, the prosecution asked Mahek, "Did you think you could just delete messages, wipe your phone, and walk away from 2 deaths?" Her smug expression vanished. Tears filled her eyes, but the jury remained unmoved. Even more damning was the fact that, just before her arrest, Mahek had searched online for ways to delete location tracking data from her phone. The jury took note. After 28 hours of deliberation, the jury returned with their final verdict. Mahek Bukhari and Ansreen Bukhari were found guilty of 2 counts of murder. Their accomplices, Rakan Karwan and Rais Jamal, were also convicted of murder. The others, Natasha Akhtar, Amir Jamal, and Sanaf Gula Mustafa, were found guilty of manslaughter. As the judge prepared to deliver sentencing, Mahek's composure finally shattered. She sobbed, pleading for leniency, but the court had no sympathy left. On September 1st, 2023, Judge Timothy Spencer KC handed down the sentences. Mahek Bukhari, life in prison with a minimum of 31 years and 8 months. Ansreen Bukhari, life in prison with a minimum of 26 years and 9 months. Rakan Karwan, life in prison with a minimum of 26 years and 10 months. Rais Jamal, life in prison with a minimum of 36 years. Natasha Akhtar, 11 years and 8 months for manslaughter. Amir Jamal, 14 years and 8 months for manslaughter. Sanaf Gula Mustafa, 14 years and 9 months for manslaughter. As the sentences were read, Mahek broke down in the dock, while Ansreen sat motionless, staring at the floor. The courtroom was filled with tears, but not for them. The families of Saqib and Hashim held each other, whispering prayers. In their final statements, the victims' families described their unbearable loss. Saqib's father, Sajjad Hussain, spoke through tears. "My son was a kind, loving boy. He trusted the wrong people, and they murdered him." Hashim's father, Sikandar Hayat, added, "They left him to burn in a furnace of hell. No one deserves to die like that." For them, justice had been served, but the pain would never fade. The Mahek and Ansreen Bukhari case will go down in history as a dark tale of greed, deceit, and the deadly consequences of social media fame. It serves as a chilling reminder. When obsession meets desperation, even the brightest influencers can descend into the darkest corners of crime. What are your thoughts on this shocking case? Let us know in the comments below. And if you love in-depth true crime stories, don't forget to subscribe to True Crime Watch HD. Stay safe and see you in the next video.